So I got a new song. Tonight we're starting a new song. Today is a new song. It's called Monsoono College, and it actually is a story song. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, I wrote this whole song about this or that. And this one, each section of the song has been put together like a movie, like an edited movie or something like that, of a period of time in my life that is what you would consider college age, although I wasn't in a college. And I was splicing together a period of time, like let's say 18 to 25, where I was into all kinds of different jams, all kinds of them. And some of them were out of college and involved a jazz band, a big band, I mean. And in this big band was a rhythm section. And the rhythm section of the big band is the drummer, the guitar player, bass player, the keyboard player, sometimes a vibe player, conga player, whatever. The rhythm section. The piano is considered a rhythm instrument. So in this rhythm section was a guy that I became friends with, who went to this college. And it was they had a fine arts hall, 2,000 seat fine arts hall, beautiful stage, huge Steinway D piano, just gorgeous lit, you know, just a full stage. You could put a full stage production on it, but also this jazz band used to perform on that stage. Well, during the jazz band concerts, they always used to have a smaller combo, mostly made of the rhythm section. The rhythm section I was just talking about, which was including the piano player, and they would play during the concert one song. So I could wander in and out of this college, and I wandered in one day as I knew that they were going to have a band concert that night, and I also knew that they might have sound checks, and I always like to sneak into that auditorium I'm talking about and kind of listen to those like sound checks of the big band or whatever, which I was not a member of at the time. And so instead on the stage was this guy who they nicknamed Oscar, as in Oscar Peterson, the great jazz piano player. So I'm going to refer to him as Oscar throughout this whole thing. And Oscar was up there playing, he's actually playing Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Take a Pebble thing, with the drummer and a bass player, and it was perfect. It was like I was sitting in the middle of the auditorium alone and watching this trio play. And then later on, so I was just blown away by that. And so then later on, though, this other trumpet player came out, and maybe a guitar player, whatever, and they played this song. And this song was like a short, what they call a head, which is just a little song that jazz musicians use as a lead sheet song. This song, and then they just jam a whole mess, and then they come back to that song later, go back to the head. So the thing is what I'm saying is that this group of people up on stage here, I'm sitting in the middle of the auditorium by myself, they played this song, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this song that they played. I've never heard it. It wasn't a pop song or anything. It was just like it was a jazz song where they just played this head. I love this head. It was so good. So later that day or week or whatever, I saw Oscar, the keyboard player, and I said, hey, what was that song that you were playing up on stage? And he goes, what song? Like, the combo song. They used to call it the combo within the jazz band. They call it a combo. I said, the band that you were playing with the combo. Oh, he goes, that song. Oh, it's just a song that me made up or something like that. It's just a basic song. I go, it's a great song. He goes, oh, we were just practicing. I mean, we were just playing it just to do a sound check. We don't even play it as a song. I'm like, you got to teach me that song. Or those chords. And so he did. And that was a clip of a story of this song that I'm about to teach you. That song clip, I expanded on that. And then I went to all other things that I wrote all around this one little idea of a college. And I called it Monsoono. Why, I don't know, rushing through it or whatever. But I called it Monsoono College. And has a story to it. Potato Face Blind Man is a character in it. There's Steve Monsoono and all kinds of other people that are in this storyline. And this is like if you were to have an overture or whatever they call it, a opening, or I guess an overture, of a musical or something like that. They have an overture where they kind of play clips of all the songs, stuff like that, or the whole type of theme or the vibe of the musical. They play that in the overture or the opening. I can't remember the name of this period of time in a musical. Anyway, this song would be that. It would be the overture of Monsoono College, which never really came to fruition, but there is a couple songs that I'll be playing later and teaching you that are really cool that are in this thing. So the song, I mostly wrote all these different parts over then years. And that one little part that I just described there is an example. But there was another part that came previously to me wandering downstate and going to this little college and seeing this happen. And that was here, where I'm living right now, but many, many years ago. I'm in high school. I'm just coming out of high school, going to the college years, and go to college, but just going to the college years. And playing a lot of piano and jamming, with any little band I could find, a little cocktail lounge band or wedding band or whatever I could get together. Wasn't really great, but it wasn't bad. It was all right. Mostly instrumental. Anyway, I don't know. The point I'm trying to say is that this song, what happened was I had a Steinway. I was lucky enough to have a Steinway in my family. And they, of course, let me play it. All right, so they let me play it. And I started one day thinking I'd like to write a chord progression, not necessarily of a song, but just a chord progression that was completely cool chromatically. And I just happened to start on D, and I went to the D minor, and I did D minor 7 and then the 2. And this was the first chord. And on that Steinway, and it sounded really good. I remember that Steinway that we owned, and that D always sounded really rich. It was like just the right place in the soundboard or whatever, and the age of the strings. And now I know that I'm playing this up an octave. Wait, hold on, I got the page here. So we are going to be playing this song, new song called, if I can just grab it here, Monsoono College. But I want to go into the other view, if we could call it that, so we can see it a little better here, and that is this kind of view, it's a line view. Anyway, here's that first chord. And that chord, and see how the chromatic, it goes right down there. If you keep on following it down, I'm going to show what I did with this. It goes down to G, and then it goes down to farther, and then from G, it goes down to F sharp, it goes down to F, and it goes to E. It does keep on going down. So it's basically a chromatic, and I decided as I'm getting into the college age of the fall after my high school graduation, I'm like, oh man, I'm just going to make these chords, and what's the next chord that I could put with a C sharp? And I'm just going to make chords, and I'm not going to rush myself. And I remember it took me a long time to come up with all these 12 chords that I wanted in succession, and I then call it in this song called Monsoono College, the dedication chords. The dedication chords. The reason that they're the dedication chords is because, to me, that's what started this whole journey, this beginning journey, as I had a girlfriend at the time that told me to become a musician. And this little chord progression was like, I am going to write, not a chord, I'm going to find a chord for each note, and that will prove to me that I can write something or something. And so I, one chord at a time, found what I liked. And I'm not going to go why or whatever, but I'm just going to show you what it goes. It's also in a kind of a fourth, I call my four chords, where they're all fourths. And it does have a lot of that fourth stuff in it, but that's me. You know what I mean? So that's why I know that, that whatever. But it starts with a nice D minor, and then look at, D flat 7. But look at these. Look at this chord. That's cool, man. That's cool chord stuff. Look at that. What I mean, that's, to me, E starts with a C bass, D starts with a B bass, and then, I mean, you can see how it crawls, but I skipped like that. You can see how I just went down chromatically. But now look at this. Look at this one. So I think that's like the B flat bass. And then look at that fourth chord. Now look at this one. Wow. How did that get there? That's so cool. Wow. I had to really must have searched for that one. Look at A flat plus 4. So, I mean, I'm crawling down and I go, I like that sound. And then I went to the same kind of sound with the G. But look how I did not move any one note finger. I just jumped right there. But now I'm here from this jump. Now watch how I just am close by now. F sharp 7 or 2, F7 7. And then A, F 7. Now, remember, I'm going all chromatics in the left hand, and now E7 plus 4. Can you keep that plus 4? E flat plus 4. D flat plus 4. Look at this progression. Isn't that cool? And that's what took me a long time to write on that Steinway. A section of the song called the dedication chords. However, we haven't really even started the song yet because I'm about to start it. What any orchestra, also there used to be an orchestra in that big 2,000 seat auditorium, and it used to perform. And what does an orchestra do first? It tunes up to A. Right? So how do I start the song? On an A, concert A, they call it concert A. And that's how I started, because it's starting the concert. Everyone's got to tune up. The orchestra's got to tune up to play the song. So let's use the A, concert A. And that's what this is written right here. It's an A way up there. Now look at this. Now this is the bass clef right here. I know I'm playing it up an octave because this is an octave keyboard. It's been octave down, so I'm playing it up an octave. I know that's weird. I just want you to know that's why it looks a little weird on the little keyboard above here. Anyway, look at the bass clef. It's a bass clef though. Watch the bass clef. Here it comes. Go chord by chord, half note by half note, half note by half note. Just did 2 more. Here's another one. Look, move one finger. Right? You can just almost hear me experimenting and finding these chords. Look at this one that's plus 4. Look at that A flat. And I stop right there and I go back to the A. I'm still holding this dissonance. I'm on this A flat. I'm on this A flat. This is the dissonance. Remember, I'm in bass clef over here. I'm in bass clef over here. That is an A this low. Look, I'm in bass clef. So I'm going to hit this chord, which is I'm playing an octave higher than it really is. Because it's way down here, but I'm playing it right here. But now, here, look. This is the dissonance. I wanted it. In this song, there's certain spots that have to be dissonance. And I want it, so this is the bass note. The orchestra bass note is holding an A flat, while the orchestra is tuning up an A. Yes. I wanted it like that. And that little dissonance was over. Oh, back to the beginning of the dedication chords right here. Half note by half note, 2 chords. I'm right over here. I can't move the arrow at the same time. to this G. Now, remember I went past the A flat, now I hop to the G. But I'm still gonna stay with an A. But what is this now? A 2. A lot prettier than a half step. Ah, a little growing, but I'm keep the G holding out in the bass. Orchestra tuning up. And then back to what I was thinking of before. Half note by half note. So I can move it there. I'm way over here. Half note by half note. Half note by half note. Now watch this. I'm a little bit more. Look at that one. F sharp 7. F sharp 7. 6. F 7. 3 of that and 6. Watch this. I'm flipping the page. Look at this one. Look at that one. E7 2 plus 4. E flat 7. And then to D, E flat 7 plus 4. And then to D flat 7, but and the D flat 7. And then I really go from the D flat 7 in a broken chord. What? I took this in the left hand, the D flat and the A flat. I already have the letter name with D flat name was there. And in the right hand, I went with the 3, the 7, and the 2, and the 6. And the 2. Sorry, the 2. And I did a riff. But I hit it, D flat, with the 5th. Watch, in time. And then what if I took that same thing and I moved it up? Right? I had a cool chord there. It's an E flat. It's like an E flat 7 plus 4 into a D flat 7. But it's going to be broken. But just it's a D flat 7 plus 4. I'm going to plus 4 in there. But it then goes to a F. It's an F with an E flat bass. It's an F chord. Here's a full chord F with an E flat bass. So it plays, interplays between D flat 7 plus 4. But it's actually just D flat 7 at this point. It's actually imagining the plus 4. Excuse me, because that's legal in a major chord. In this case, this D flat is just playing off of the D flat 7 too. But it's breaking it between two hands. It's taking the 5th, 1 and 5, in the left hand. And in the right hand, it's going 3, 7, 2. So it's 1, 5, 1, 5, 3, 7, 2, 1, 5, 3, 7, 2. And in the the F with the E flat bass, it just moves it up one whole step from D flat to E flat, and it's F. It's the F chord in the right hand, and the 5th. I'm just breaking both. What do you think? Pretty cool? All right, it's Monsoono. It's Monsoono. Now, as I was saying now, I got all the way to the end of the dedication chords. Right here, where we're breaking it with a D flat 7, broken, to an F chord with an E flat bass. Look, there's the F chord, there's a E flat to a B flat, the 5th. And in the D flat, 5th, 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 5th. Solid, right? Rewind, going back. Because I want to talk a little bit about the analysis of, well, first the dedication chords that I wrote, as I said, over a couple months, which just kept going down to here. And then I didn't go any further because the next one is D. So I went, but I made a chord that I would play every time. And this chord is what I'm going to talk about. And even the next one. What is that chord? That's such a cool kind of song. That is from a fooling around chord that I found. And I love my 4 chords, all 4s. But really, what is a 4 chord? It's a sus. Here, like, it is an E flat sus, inverted top to bottom, but with a different bass. In this case, it has a C bass. So I'm sure it analyzes out to something in the C world, but I just like keep it simple. And the next one, look, is a D sus. There's a D sus with a B bass. So yeah, I can see, B minor 4 in there. Yeah, I can see some of that, but I don't want it. I want it just as a 4th. And then by just kind of moving down just a little bit, I become it, and this you can analyze out this way. It's an E flat 7 2. Taking out the 5 right there. This is a strengthener, the 5, and keeping the E flat down. But it's close to here. It also gives me a note to play. Oh, I don't play it with E flat in the bass. I play with the B flat in the bass. Take the 5th, and I'm putting it in the bass. But it gives me a note, a chord to play on that B flat. If I'm doing the chromatics all the way down from D. In between, as I made this. Well, not the last chord. Just down to there before I got down to D. I interrupt it with the tuning of the orchestra. Concert A. The first time you hear the concert A, and then a little bit of the dedication chords. Here's that E flat sus, D sus, E flat 7 with B flat bass, and then if I move just one finger, I get a C sus with an A bass, and then this kind of question mark chord, a +4 chord, has to be an A flat 7 +4, and then I interrupt myself again to tune the orchestra. Don't forget this is an A right here because you are in bass clef over here. And here we go. Here's an orchestra. I'm back to my dedication chords. I wrote, as I said before I even went to this concert where I saw this song being played on stage by Oscar and the jazz band group. Oh, I moved down further. I made a jump chord, as I was saying, to the G7 plus, look at that, the +5. Back to the tuning of the orchestra. Switching the page. I've gotten pretty far down in my chromatics. Yeah. Going down chromatically. There's a C, there's a B, there's a B flat, there's an A, there's an A flat, there's a G. And as I was saying, this chord, which is this +5 chord, is 7 2. If I move it just like almost directly down, but I keep one common tone, it becomes an F sharp 7. So it's an F sharp 7 6. A real happy chord from here, kind of a question chord to a happy chord. I'm going to keep that happy atmosphere as I move down chromatically, straight chromatic neighbors to the F, and then this chord, which is a kind of a cool jazz chord. It's an +4 2 spread out with a 7. Keep that same question mark type chord. Move it down all chromatic neighbors to E flat. So that's what I did. I went. And then, where am I? Back to D. No. And then I slipped or whatever, and I went a whole step down one night or one day. I liked it, and I didn't revert it, and I went to an F. It was a full F chord with an E flat bass, and then just repeating it again. D flat, D flat, D flat and A, D flat and A, D flat and A, D flat and A, E flat and B flat, E flat and B flat, with the broken chord in between the 5th, against the 5th. Oh, and then the last one, what? I go, I do 2 of them first. 1, just the 5ths. 1, 2. back a page here to get that. See, 1, 2, 1, 2. Fifth, 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 fifth. First off, a D flat, then to E flat. On the E flat, I'm going to be playing an F chord on top of it. On the D flat, I'm going to make it a 7, 2. So here we go. Here we go, broken. And then this broken, F, D flat, in E flat. In the last one that I do is backwards. And I hit it at the same time. Isn't that cool? Going up. Watch. Once again in the D flat, going up. In the E flat. And that is the full dedication chords beginning of Monsoono College. Then the next section.